What's good? It's Jimmypocketts. You see this beautiful table? You already know what's going on. We back in the home game streets today. If you want to play with me at this home game and you're local in the Jersey, New York area, DM me on Instagram at Jimmypocketts or send me an email. Both the links are in the description. I'll connect you with the host. It's a 1-2 game, 1,000 max. Game plays big, especially when the low stake whales show up from the city. You don't want to miss it. Let's get into hand number one. We look down at ace-queen offsuit in the cutoff. I raise a 15, and we go heads up with the small blind to a flop of 2-7-6. He checks it to me. I end up checking back, because a c-bet bluff for me really doesn't make sense here, when he's more likely to have low cards, since he just called my raise pre-flop. The turn is a 3 of diamonds, and he checks again. Now I'm thinking my ace-high might be good here, so I throw out a small bet of 15, and he calls. The river is another 3 pairing the board, and he checks for a third time. Based on the action, I think he floated me on the turn with 2 overs, looking to improve. That's why I feel pretty confident when I bet out 20. He thinks for a while, and he ends up calling. I proudly table my ace high, and he exposes king jack. We take it down. He called me extremely light. He must think I bluff a lot. Hopefully it pays me off in the future when I make a big hand. Real quick, make sure you hit that sub button if you guys aren't subscribed. Really helps the channel grow. Let's head to the next one. Literally about 5 minutes later, we pick up ace-king offsuit in the low jack, and the triple straddle is on the 16. There's no better time to look down and see ace-king. Since that big of a straddle is on, I open the 50. Not really sure what sizing to go with here, and then the button jams his short stack in for 125. I call, of course, table my hand, and he tables jack 10 suited. I see this and ask him if he wants to run it twice, just to give him a chance. Now you guys know I'm not a fan of running it twice. But given the fact that it's a friendly home game, he's short stacked, and the game just started about a half hour ago, I don't really want to stack this guy this early in the session, potentially sending him home if he doesn't rebuy. He says he wants to run it twice. I say twice is good with me. We go to two runouts, and flop an ace on the first one, and he's dead on the turn. Always feels good to win the first one. The second board's flop is 9-8-2. He's open-ended. He's got some more outs. The turn is a brick, and then he rivers the 10. We chop it up. Now you see why I don't want to run it twice. Me being nice cost me about $140. Hopefully the poker gods remember that and are good to me in the future. Don't think I only play premiums, but we pick up pocket aces and under the gun +1. The dealer's just blessing me today, and we're only about 40 minutes into the session at this point. Let's keep it going. I open the 15 and get 2 callers. 3 ways now, the flop comes king 6-8 with 2 diamonds. I see bet for 20, and only the low jack calls. The turn is the queen of clubs. Now there's 2 flush draws on the board, which worries me a little bit, but I still think we need to bet out here. I bet out for 40. He calls again, and the river is a 10 of spades. The flush draw is bricked. I don't think he has a straight, but he could very well have a 2-pair hand like king 10 or king queen. I still think I need to be betting here though. I bet out for around half pot of 100. About 45 seconds into his tank, I realize there's no way he's got 2-pair or better tanking like this. I start praying for a call. I'm trying to keep a stoic face, Stonewall-like, but on the inside my heart is racing. I'm thinking call, and eventually he does. I table my aces, they're good, and we take it down. I didn't see his hand, but he said he called me light. It was a curiosity call. I'm thinking I must have bluff written on my forehead or something, cause these guys are trying to make hero calls non-stop tonight. We look down at ace-10 offsuit in middle position and open the 15. Only a low jack in the button call. We head to the flop 3 ways of ace 6-4 with 2 clubs. We flop top pair and see bet for 15. The low jack calls, and then Panda 3 bets to 60. Now I have to think. I know Panda's capable of doing this with a club draw. Maybe my pair of aces is good right now. I call, and the low jack calls too, which is not good. The turn is the 5 of hearts. I check, and the low jack jams for 86. Now Panda jams over the top for about 400. There's just no way I'm good here. I fold face up. They both have 2 pair. The low jack has 4-5. He turned 2 pair. I'm not sure how he hanged on to call that $60 3 bet to see the turn, which gave him 2 pair. I would have folded for sure. Panda takes it down though when the river bricks with ace-6 of hearts. Next we get dealt pocket tens on the big blind. Few limps to me, and we make it 15. We get 3 callers, and we go to flop 4 ways of ace, king, 8, all clubs. Not the best board to see, so we check it. We got the 10 of clubs though. It checks to the hijack. He bets out 25. The small blind calls, and I decide to call 2 since we got the club draw. The turn is the king of hearts pairing the board. It checks all the way through this time, and the river is the jack of clubs giving us the flush. The small blind checks it to me, and I don't think anyone has a boat here given how the action went. More likely, they just have a 1 pair holding like an ace here. So we're essentially only losing to a hand like ace queen with the queen of clubs or king queen with the queen of clubs. So I bet out 100, and they both fold pretty quickly. The small blind does expose ace queen offsuit, and we take it down. We get into a pretty interesting spot with pocket jacks, the Jimmypocketts, in the cutoff. Under the gun opens for 10. He gets 1 caller, and then I 3-bet the 45. Under the gun calls, and we head to the flop heads up of ace, 3, 4. Why is there always an ace on the flop when you have pocket jacks or pocket queens? It feels like it happens every single time. He checks it to me, and I c-bet for 25, trying to represent having an ace here since it favors my 3-bet pre-flop range. He calls, and the turn is the 8 of clubs. He checks it to me. I don't remember why, but I gave up bluffing and checked it back. The river is a 4 pairing the board. Now he leads out for 80. This confuses me a little bit. I really don't know what he has here based on the action. I don't think he has an ace, and this specific player is Panda, who's a pretty tough opponent, and I know he's capable of bluffing. I decide to call, hoping for a bluff, and he flips over 4, 6 of clubs for river trips. Not too upset with my call here, and even if we continue bluffing on the turn, he would have called given the fact that he picked up a flush draw to go with his pair. He might have even 3-bet me, which would have allowed me to fold and get away. We're in for 700 now at this point. We've added on a few times and are sitting around 500 effective. So we're down. About 2 hours later, we get dealt the Jimmypocketts again in the big blind. Let's get a little redemption. Under the gun opens for 12. It folds around to the cutoff, and then he jams for 79. I was thinking about putting in a 3-bet to around 250, but then I realized under the gun is also short stacked. He only has about 90, so I just call. Under the gun jams for a little bit more, and I call, of course. I flip over my jacks. Under the gun shows ace 10, and the cutoff doesn't show. We go to a run out. Let's not see an ace. 1 time. Flop comes 10, 3, 5. Good so far. And then the turn is the dreaded ace, followed by an 8. We lose this one, and under the gun gets about a full triple up. We pick up ace jack and under the gun +2. The straddle's on, so I raise the 25. And only the button calls. We head to the flop, heads up of ace, 3, 6. We flop top pair, but I check. I've been working on staying balanced and occasionally throwing in some strong checks, just so I'm harder to play against and my hands aren't always face up. He checks back, and the turn is a 5. I lead out for 20 now. I know he doesn't really have anything since he checked back, but we gotta squeeze out at least some value. He calls and the river is a 9. I bet out 45. He folds, and we take it down. Last hand of the night. We get king 10 and under the gun +2. Under the gun raises to 7. A little small in my opinion. I just call though. The cutoff then 3-bets to 30. It folds back around to me. We're getting a pretty good price here, so I call. Heads up, the flop is 10, 6, 8. We check it over to the pre-flop aggressor. I'm not really a fan of donk leading out, even if we flop top pair, and he checks it back. The turn is the 7 of clubs. The obvious straight draw is complete, but I lead out for 20, just so it doesn't go check again. He calls, and the river is a 4. I check, And I decided to do this because I knew I was about to leave and I just wanted to avoid losing a big pot right before I left. I was playing scared, I guess you could say. I wasn't really afraid of him having a straight. I was just happy to take down this small pot, rack up, and leave. He checks back, we're good, and we do take it down. We were in for 700, out for 451, booking a loss of 249 in about 7 hours of play. Even though we booked a loss, I still think we played solid today. You know, if just 3 hands went the other way, we would have easily booked the win here. Those 2 all-ins we lost when we got it in good, and when Panda River tripped fours on us after calling us down light. That's just how it goes sometimes. Nothing we could do but, keep studying, trying to play a solid game. And it's just really unlucky when you get it in good and you lose 2 flips in a session. It's hard to make money. That's it for today though. I'll see you guys on the next one.